What is up, guys? It is your boy Serge. So today I want to talk to you about the new Intel Compute Stick. This is a $100 PC that can do everything you throw at it. It's absolutely amazing what you can do on this Compute Stick. You want to play some Counter-Strike Go? Go right ahead. You want to play some League of Legends? Go right ahead. For $100, this is one of the smallest, most portable computers money can buy right now. It's absolutely amazing. So I started searching around. I was like, you know what kind of computer can I get for about $100? And I was looking on Craigslist, I was looking in the used markets, eBay, Amazon. I was like, why am I doing that? There has to be a modern day solution that is more portable and has more features. The Intel Compute Stick is just that. Let's take a look at what you can actually do on this little stick. At first glance, the Intel Compute Stick really doesn't look like much. About the size of a USB, plug it into your HDMI port, and you get a full Windows 10 PC on a stick. For $100, you can't expect the craziest performance, but what you can expect is to be able to use applications like Word, basic productivity tasks, and just about any light-based gaming, you can do it on here. Being able to tweak your settings down, or even being able to play emulator games is one of the more awesome things on an Intel Compute Stick. Imagine having a small little computer that you can plug into any monitor, and essentially your full PC is with you on the go. This little stick's pretty awesome. It's got a little fan built in. We have two USBs, a USB 3.0, a USB 2.0, and then a micro USB for essentially powering the device. You have a little power button to turn the device on. There's actually two sets of grills here. You have an intake for the fan exhaust, and then it also comes down at the very bottom here, pushing out all the heat. Pretty crazy stuff. I can't believe a little computer like this even exists. If I was you, would I go out there and buy a used $100 computer? At this point, you can, and you probably will get a better gaming computer, but something like this is just so cool to think about. I mean, imagine being able to play GameCube on here. Imagine being able to play your Wii games, other emulators like PlayStation 2, and in the future, possibly even PlayStation 3 games on a little stick like this. It's just completely insane and unheard of. Let's take a look at some of the performance to see what it's like to actually game on this thing.
Strand of spaghetti and it'll always have sauce on it, right? And she's like, yeah, alright, I'm following you.
Install complete.
We could use some help here. You're the boss. SCV ready. We have them on radar, sir. They'll be landing in a few moments.
Excellent. Super Turbo Dragon Puncher 3.
On behalf of the UAE.
So what kind of specifications are we running on this Intel Compute Stick? Well, it's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, an Intel Atom processor, which is actually a quad core, which features about 2 megabyte cache. Cache is basically super fast RAM that's built inside the CPU that allows you to load data. And since it's a quad core, you can pretty much do anything on there. Want to have 5 or 10 Chrome tabs? Go right ahead. Want to play the latest AAA game titles that aren't super graphically intensive? Go right ahead. Realistically, not even a problem. I was really surprised that I could play Counter-Strike Global Offensive on here and achieve around 30 FPS and still get all the headshots, still game just fine without any trouble. When you're playing League of Legends, again, turn everything down and you could still game at around 30 to 45 FPS, sometimes jumps to even 50. Really good results for something like this, pretty crazy. If you're thinking about getting a small form factor gaming PC, one thing to keep in mind is you will need a hub, something to plug in extra ports like your keyboard, mouse, possibly even a headphones, like for instance the G35 headphones that I use. They use USB, so having extra USBs is really useful. And since you're gaming online, this Ethernet will actually improve your connectivity. I also have a external SSD drive, which I plug right in. This is not an essential. And if you really wanted, you could just use the micro SD card port on the compute stick and just plug in 128 gigabyte or 256 gigabyte micro SD card and store all your data on there instead of the internal 32 gigabyte, which is pretty limiting. But for $100 you really can't complain, because it does give you a pretty modern day CPU and GPU that can game fairly decent. But if you're looking to save, don't get yourself an expensive SSD like this. Consider a HDD, a hard drive disk, maybe a 500 or 1 terabyte drive that you can pick up for around 25 or 30 bucks used online. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can buy pretty cheap hardware if you're just willing to go used, and it's flooded on eBay and Amazon. You just have to take a look, and you can literally find hardware for anywhere from 50 to 70% off. It's insane what you can find on there. If you buy older computer hardware, you can buy a full computer for anywhere from $5, 20 bucks, maybe even 50 bucks, a full PC for 50 bucks. Can you imagine that? I wanted to get something more modern, which is really why I gravitated towards the Intel compute stick. And there was actually quite a few imitations out there. There was like the Migo Pad, there was a few other brands that I saw out there that didn't actually look half bad. The Migo Pad features the quad-core processor just like this one here, but instead of 2 gigabytes of RAM, it actually has 4 gigabytes. So if you were thinking about picking up something a little bit more beefier, a little bit more powerful, I'd say go ahead and pick that one up, because it is going to be a lot faster. With 2 gigabytes of RAM, you realistically do have to shut off most of your other applications and just kind of launch whatever you're working on and keep everything else off, because the multitasking is limited on a 2 gigabyte stick of RAM that's on here. Essentially, you can run around 2 to 3 medium-sized applications, and if you run anything else, you will experience some sluggish performance, because then the RAM starts to save on the actual storage, and then it starts to page it. That whole paging process takes quite some time, so I don't recommend running too many applications. In fact, anytime I played a game, I shut almost all applications off, and sometimes have to do a full restart to clear the cache that's stored on the drive. So keep that in mind when you're using something like this. One other thing to consider. Right now, the Core M version of this product is extremely expensive. Now, if you see the Core M version, grab it by all means, because the performance is up to 4 times faster than the Intel Atom. Actually, it turns out Intel actually abandoned the Intel Atom line about a couple years ago, especially when the smartphone market really has been booming with ARM processors. Intel wanted to make an Atom processor that they can put inside their PCs. You might have seen the Asus cell phone. It's like a mini cell phone PC thing that has an Intel Atom processor. And the cool thing about Intel Atom is that it's x86, which means it can run a full version of Windows. Unlike what we have on our cell phones now, like the iPhones and Androids, they run on ARM architecture, which is incompatible with running Windows. Which is why the Intel Atom lineup is so cool, because you can actually run a full version of Windows. Not a lot of mobile phone users can realistically say that they're running a full desktop OS on their phone. It's just not something that you hear about. Intel wanted to make this a reality, but sadly, they've pretty much terminated the project, and now you can kind of find these devices floating around. You can still purchase them new, you can still purchase them through third-party stores, Newegg, Tiger Direct, Amazon, that kind of thing, and even eBay. However, they're just not working on the technology anymore, and that makes me really, really sad, because it's a really cool piece of tech. Alright, so I want to thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, or if you want me to test any other games or software on this particular stick, I am thinking about doing a part 2 where I can follow up and answer all your guys' further questions that you may have. And if not, I'll definitely be answering the comments down below like I always do. So if you haven't already subscribed, I highly recommend you push that subscribe button, because I do like to have a two-way communication with my subscriber base. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.